What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Keep It Techie. I'm Josh, and today we're diving into something super useful for anyone looking to get their feet wet in web development or server management. We're going to set up a LAMP stack on Ubuntu 24.04 server edition. And LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Now, this setup is a powerful and popular way to host websites and web applications. So let's get started and demystify the process together. All right, so before we dive into the nitty-gritty of installation, let's quickly go over what a LAMP stack is and why it's so important. As I mentioned, LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So let's break that down. Linux is the foundation of our stack. And in this case, we're using Ubuntu 24.04, which is a rock-solid choice for servers. Now, Apache, this is our web server software. It handles requests and serves up web pages to users. Now, next we have MySQL. This is our database management system. It stores all the data for our website, like user information, posts, and more. Now, lastly, we have PHP. And this is our scripting language that runs on the server and is used to create dynamic web pages. And together, these components allow you to serve up dynamic websites or web applications. Now that we have a basic understanding, let's move on to the fun part, which is the installation and configuration of our LAMP stack. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a quick shout out to CIQ, the official partner of Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux is a Linux distribution that is intended to be a downstream complete binary compatible release using the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system source code. The project is led by Gregory Kurtzer, who was the founder of the CentOS project. So check out Rocky Linux at ciq.co. All right, so I'm connected to my Ubuntu 24.04 server, and this is actually the same server we worked with in my last video where we set a static IP address. I don't know if you guys remember that. If you guys saw that video, I set the static IP address to 213 on my network. And this is important to do for a web server because you want these services to be available whenever people request it. So you need to have a static IP address. Now let's roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. I'll guide you through the process step by step. So don't worry if you're new to this. By the end, you'll have a fully functioning LAMP stack running on your Ubuntu server. So the first thing you want to do is update your server. So just go to your terminal and type sudo apt updates because we're going to be installing a lot of software. So you want to refresh the repositories, and this will also check to see if we have any updates for the system, and it'll update those packages when we run the next command. And it may have a few updates. Yeah, we do have some updates. So the command to run to actually install those updates is sudo apt upgrade, and then we can put a -y on the end of it because it always asks this question: are you sure you want to install this on your hardware? And also a warning of how much space these new packages, these new updates will take up on the system. So let's go ahead and press enter there, and boom, it'll go through the process of installing all the updates on the system. And like I said, you always want to do this before you're installing any new software on the system. And boom, we are done. So we have updated our system. And this basically completes the first step of our LAMP stack, which is Linux. We have a install of Linux and it's fully updated. So that's the first letter in our stack, so Linux. And now we want to move on to installing Apache. And this software is what serves our web pages. So go on and type in the command for it. And anytime you're installing any piece of software, all you have to do is type sudo apt install, and then the package name is Apache 2, so APACHE 2, and press enter, and we can type that Y in there. That's the purpose of putting that -y at the end of the command, because it'll go down and answer that question for you. It says after this operation about 8 megabytes of additional disk space will be used. Do you want to continue? So we're going to type yes, boom, but we can skip that by putting that -y at the end. So let's let this go through the process of installing. I'll be back when it finishes. All right, so Apache is installed, and we can check to verify Apache is good because what it does is it'll start the service for Apache on the server. It also enable it so anytime you reboot the server, Apache will start, and it will automatically start serving any websites that you have enabled on the server. But you can check the status of it by typing another command. It's called sudo systemctl and then status. And then there is a service running called Apache 2.service, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Apache 2.service, and press enter. And this will let you know this is active and running. So Apache 2 service, this is the Apache HTTP server. It is active currently, it's enabled. And right here, this means that it will start on boot. So each time you reboot the server, your Apache server will start and serve out the web pages that you have enabled on the server. And so let's go down and press Q to get out of that and get back to our terminal. All right, and one other way you can check your Apache server just to verify that it's working is by going to the IP address of the server. We already know what it is, it's that 213. Let me switch over to my browser right fast, and then we can type in that IP address. So it's 192.168.10.213, press enter, and that'll go to the server on our network. And it looks like it's timing out. I can kind of tell just by looking at it. One of the things we set up on this server is the firewall. So let's switch back over to the terminal and go on and open up our ports for HTTP. And let's check our status right fast. So we can type UFW status, because I believe it is enabled. Oh yeah, and we have to run sudo for that. So sudo UFW status, and as you can see, yeah, our firewall is active and enabled, and the only ports that are open are for SSH. And so we need to open up the ports for HTTP, which is port 80, as well as 443 if you're running a encrypted site. And so let's list out our app profiles that we have on the system. And like I told you guys in the past with UFW, as you add applications to the system, they'll start showing up in the application profile list. And so if you type sudo UFW app list and press enter, this will list out any profiles that we have available on the system. And so let me break them all down for you right fast. It comes with 3 profiles that Apache sets up on the system. The Apache is just for port 80. The Apache full is 80 and 443, and then Apache secure is just 443. And what we want to do is just use port 80. So I'm gonna just do the Apache, but if you're planning to install an SSL cert on the server for your website to use port 443 to encrypt traffic, then you can go down and put the full. Let's say you want both of them up there, 80 and 443, use that full. But if you only want to use a secure site, then you can do Apache secure, and that'll just open up port 443. But like I said, I'm gonna just open up the port for port 80. And so let's type in the command right fast so you guys can see it. And it's sudo UFW allow, and then all you have to do is type it exactly like it is up there. You have to capitalize it where it's capitalized and everything. And also, in case somebody run into an issue, you see how it has full there, it has a space in there. So if we were to do full, then we would have to put this in quotes because there's a space there, and it's gonna see it as 2 different commands, so to speak, because of that space. But since we're not using the full, I just wanted to show you guys that for anybody that may want to activate the full, then you have to put it in quotes because it has that space in the middle of it. But go down, press enter, that'll add that rule to us. And then we can check our status again. So if we go to sudo UFW status, press enter, that'll let you know that port 80 is open for the server. And that's both version 4 or IP version 4 and IP version 6. So it allows traffic from both. Now, let me quickly go back over to our website because it basically came up right away as soon as I open up the port, and this page will come up, and this basically just lets you know that the server is installed correctly and it's working properly. And it also has a lot of information in here that you can go through. This basically covers the configuration overview, which I'll show you guys a little bit later. But this is the layout of the file structure for Apache 2. It just shows you where all the configuration files are stored and all that good stuff. So let's switch back over to the terminal. All right, so let's handle our 3rd step in the left stack, which is M for MySQL. And this is how we manage our databases. So let's just run through this quick install right fast. Let's type sudo apt install, and then the package name is MySQL server. And I'm gonna put the -y in there so you guys can see the difference this time. So let's go down, press enter. It'll go through, install MySQL for us. It'll only take a couple minutes or so. I'll come back when it completes. And then we can go through some configuration of setting MySQL up as well. All right, so our installation is complete. Let's go on and check our services for MySQL, just like we did with Apache. So all we had to do is type sudo systemctl, that it, MySQL, and I'm gonna tab it out. Yeah, MySQL.service, press enter. As you can see, it is active and enabled and running. So we're good to go. It's actually running on the system, so we're good to go. So we can quit. And just so you guys know, and this goes for both Apache and MySQL, in case it's not running, which it should, start it and enable the actual service on the system. But all you have to do is type sudo systemctl start either apache.service 2.service, and you can start the service from there, or the same thing with MySQL.service, and you can start the service there and then also enable it if it's not. But it should be good to go. If you're using 24.04, it should start and enable the service. I just wanted to at least point out the commands in case it's not running. Now let's go through and do a little configuring of MySQL. We want to log into it first, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Let me clear the screen, but all you have to do is type sudo MySQL, and it will ask for our password, our sudo password, but it didn't because I just recently, ran something using sudo, just so you guys know. But it may ask you for your sudo password in order to log into it, and that's your Josh account or whatever your user account of the system. And so we're actually logged into our database management system. As you can see, we're using server version 8.0.36. This is the version that they put out there, and of course MySQL is owned by Oracle. Now we have to run one command in here, and that is to set our root account password on MySQL. So we can type alter and then user, and then we have to type in our username, which is root, and you have to put this in single quotes. And if you guys need help with running SQL commands or SQL queries, essentially is what they are, then I do have a course on my channel that walks you through how to use the database management system MySQL. So I'm gonna just kind of run through it, but and then we need localhost and a single quote, and then identified with, I keep forgetting, I like to type it all out in all caps, identified with MySQL underscore native underscore password, all lowercase. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go down and try to put this on my website. I know I've been slacking with a lot of it. People been asking, hey, how can I copy the commands, you know what I'm saying, that you're typing on the system, so to make it easier. I'm a one-man operation, so all these videos, all these tutorials, I put together myself. I write out scripts for myself. I set up the servers and all that stuff. And it's kind of hard for me to keep up with my website. So I apologize. If someone is interested in helping me, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? You can, of course, put it on your resume that you wrote technical articles or something like that. I can't afford to pay you, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to, just do some website development using Markdown language, you want to learn Markdown or something, you want to help me out by putting all these commands into a website, just hit me up in email. It's KeepItTechie@gmail.com. But anyway, let's get back to it. But and then we want to specify our password. So we want to put that in quotes, and let me go down and hide my face so you guys can see the full thing. And we want to just type in a password. I'm gonna put capital PASSWORD 1, and then put it in single quotes. And at the end of any SQL query, we need to put a semicolon, and let's go down and press enter, and that should work. As you can see, it says query okay, 0 rows affected, which is fine. That actually worked for us. And so let's exit out because we need to go down and run through our final configuration of MySQL, which is running the configuration script or the secure installation script that's built into MySQL. So let me clear the screen. This script comes with the application. It's made to secure the server, especially if you're looking to make this a production server that will be accessed by the internet. And so let's go down and run the script. So all we got to do is type sudo, and then it's MySQL underscore secure, and I'm gonna tab it out, but secure underscore installation. Press enter. This will go through the process of setting it up for it. And then what we want to do is use that same password we just set on the server. So it's capital PASSWORD 1. Press enter. And this is to set up the validate password component. This next question, and it basically allows you to check to make sure the password strength is good for your security policy. And it's good to set one of these up. You can use lowercase y or capital Y for yes. I'll just go down and set it up so you guys can see what it is. I'm gonna press enter, and you have 3 different settings for the password policy. And basically it's the length, mixed characters, special characters, and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna set it to low. I just want to show you guys how to set it, or the different levels of it. So low, then you got medium, has to be greater than 8 characters with a number, mixed case and special case. Strong length, it has to be greater than 8 characters. Numeric, mixed case and special characters and dictionary. So just set it based on how you want to set it. And like I said, the script just goes through and secure the MySQL server as much as possible before putting it out there as a production server. So like I said, I'm gonna use low. You use whatever policy you want to set. So I'm gonna put 0, press enter. And right now it's asking me if I want to change my root password, which I'm going to elect no, because it's already a little bit stronger than the low settings. So I'm gonna leave it the same. Now, this is the part where it actually kind of secures the server. So it'll remove anonymous users, allowing anyone to log into the server. And so let's type Y for yes, because we definitely want to do this. Press enter. Disallow root login remotely, so that's good. You don't want anyone logging in remotely to this server using a root account, and this will allow people to kind of like brute force it. So you want to turn that off. Remove test databases, yeah, you could do that, definitely. And this will reload privileged tables. Now this is basically just resetting everything for us. Press enter, and we're pretty much done. So now our MySQL server is secure as much as possible. There are other things you can do to secure the server a little bit more, but the most vulnerable part of it is your application, which is where users can actually hit. All right, so let's go down and install our last step in the process, which is PHP. And let me go down and just clear the screen so you guys can see the packages I'm gonna install. And it's gonna be 3 main packages. I'll show you guys them. Let's go down and type them in, but sudo apt install PHP for 1, and then there's an Apache mod for PHP. So you want to type that in. So lib Apache 2, and it's mod for PHP essentially. And then there is a P for MySQL as well. We want to get all of those packages installed. So let's go down and press enter. Boom. You'll go through that process of installing those, and I'll be back when it completes. All right, so our installation is complete of all those packages, and let's go down and test out our server just to verify that my PHP is on the server and working properly. We can create a file right fast. So one thing about Apache, there is a default location for all your web files, and I'll show you guys that in a second, but it's under var www and then HTML. That is our default location. I'm gonna create a file in here called info.php, and I'm using my text editor Nano, like I stated. Gonna open that up right fast, and let's just type a little PHP in here right fast so we can test out the server. So let's press that left arrow question mark, and then PHP, we want to specify that this is PHP, and we can use a quick script that's built in for PHP info. Put our parentheses and then a semicolon at the end of it, and then I believe it's question mark and then the right arrow like that. So that should pull up our PHP info for the system. Go on and save this right fast. Boom. And then let's go over to our server, the web page right fast. Boom. And behind our IP address, we want to do /info PHP. And let's see if it pulls up anything. Yes, and it does. So brings up our PHP version. This kind of lets us know that PHP is enabled on the server and working properly. Boom. Here's the configuration, Apache, the Apache environment. Just breaks down all the information about the server there. So we are good to go with PHP. All right, let me show you guys something else right fast, and this will be super quick. I'm gonna create another test file, and this will test to see if PHP can interact with MySQL. So, and this will kind of finalize our testing of the server. And so let's create another file under our var www directory. So nano, and then var www, and then HTML, and then let's create one called, let's see, test.php, and this will basically test MySQL essentially, just to verify that everything works. So press enter. I already have something written out, some more PHP written out, and this will basically interact with MySQL. So I'm gonna paste this in here. I might go down and put this on the site as well so you guys can test it out, test out your connection. And basically this is setting some variables up at the top, like localhost, root, the root account, and then our password that we set. So whatever you set your password to, you want to change that to, I set mine to capital P, password, you know, and then number 1, and this will just create a connection and all that good stuff. So let's go down and save this right fast. boom, and test it out right fast. So let's switch back over to our website, and then instead of info dot, let's change this to test PHP. All right, fast, and you'll see what it actually does. So connected successfully, boom. So it said that it connected successfully to our MySQL server, so we're good to go. And there you have it. You just set up a LAMP stack on Ubuntu 24.04 server edition. Now, like I said, this is a powerful foundation for hosting websites and web applications. So whether you're looking to start a personal project or set up something for work, this stack has got you covered. Now, like I always say, remember the tech world is vast and there's always something new to learn. So don't get discouraged if things seem challenging at first. Just keep tinkering with stuff, keep learning, and most importantly, keep it techie. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the KeepItTechie channel for more Linux tutorials and tech tips. And also drop any questions or comments down below. I'm here to help, so feel free to do that. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.